Republican Senator Ron Johnson, Wisconsin, might be best known these days as a ceaseless font of crazy quotes. The latest being this thing he said yesterday about COVID vaccines.
I think we probably should have limited the distribution to the vulnerable, to people that really aren't, to the very young. I see no reason to be pushing vaccines on people, and the science tells us that vaccines are 95% effective. So if you have a vaccine, quite honestly, what do you care if your neighbor has one or not? Why is this big push to make sure everybody gets a vaccine, and to the point where you better impose it? You're going to shame people. You're going to force them to carry a card to prove that they've been vaccinated so they can participate in society. I'm getting highly suspicious of what's happening here.
Why this big push to vaccinate everyone? Why would we want to do that? Well, because if the vaccine is 95% effective, the number of people that are still going to get sick is going to be dependent on how much community transmission there is. Generally, this is not rocket science, Senator. So why do you care if someone is vaccinated or not? Well, let's just look at Kentucky this week, where an unvaccinated worker set off an outbreak at a U.S. nursing home where most residents were immunized. Dozens of infections, including in 22 residents and employees, were all fully vaccinated. 3 residents died, 1 vaccinated and 2 unvaccinated. So yeah, everyone getting vaccinated suppresses the disease, which is the point. Now, Johnson has since tried to clean up what he said by releasing a statement today, basically calling his remarks a legitimate question, which, fine, whatever. But his irresponsible vaccine talk comes on the heels of him parroting the popular white supremacist theory that Democrats are importing immigrants to replace certain American voters.
This administration wants complete open borders, and you have to ask yourself why. Is it really they want to remake the demographics of America to ensure that they stay in power forever? Is that what's happening here?
Just asking questions. You know people that just like to ask questions. Then there was the time last month, Ron Johnson said he was not worried about the Capitol rioters, of course, who injured dozens of police officers because they were, quote, people that love this country, unlike Black Lives Matter protesters.
I knew those were people that love this country, that truly respect law enforcement, would never do anything to break a law. And so I wasn't concerned. Now, had the tables been turned, and Joe, this got me in trouble. Had the tables been turned and President Trump won the election, and those were tens of thousands of Black Lives Matter and Antifa protesters, I might have been a little concerned.
Truly love law enforcement, the crowd that threatened to murder a cop with his own gun. Perhaps what is really crazy about Senator Johnson is that he's saying all this whole performance of his, it's not coming from some guy from a super conservative hard right state where he has to worry about a primary challenger and he's never going to have to worry about a general election challenger. No, he's saying this stuff as a senator from Wisconsin, a razor-thin swing state, as we saw from the last election. In fact, as of 2021, he is the only statewide elected Republican left in that state. Now, Senator Ron Johnson has not decided if he's going to run for re-election yet, but if he does, he's going to have to answer to those voters in a closely divided Wisconsin, where he thinks, apparently, that out-trumping Trump is the key to his political future.